Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Africam show. I'm so excited to be here with you as usual. Ooh, we've got a couple stuck elephants. There we go. All is good. Oh, I'm so glad that we can spend time at the Ordonio Cam again. Oh, that's okay. It gives me, I was about to say to you, let's stop and listen to these wonderful sounds. Here we go. Now, for me, there's a couple things that I always like to remind people of when I take people out in safari. And it's not just about what you can see, but it's also about what you can hear and what you can smell. And elephants at a waterhole are just one of those sightings that tickle all of your senses. I just got so excited that I didn't even introduce myself, introduce the show, and give you all the pointers, but it's me, Tishala, and you're watching, of course, the African show, always live and always wild, as usual. And this is a live and interactive experience, so you can send through your questions and your comments, as usual, and so many of you have already done that. Rolling Trouble, you say, hi, Tishala from Washington State. You've got your coffee and your water. Love to hear it. Durao, you say, good morning, Trish. And Kathy from lovely sunny Toronto, you're sitting here with a smile and a cup of Java waiting to smile with new wildlife adventures. Oh, I love that. Durell, I wonder if it was you last week who said that their smile was bigger now that the show had ended. I think it was the Wild Romans show on Thursday, and that actually made me feel so happy, and it just reminded me or kind of put a new sentence into my general spiel at the beginning. And that's that I hope that after these shows or after you watch the cams, that you leave with a smile on your face, having spent time in nature with me or whoever else, whichever other ranger is with you, learn something, but putting a smile on your face, I think that's wonderful. And I'd be so happy if I could accomplish that. Trainer Matt 51, you say good morning from North Carolina. Good morning to you, Trainer Matt. Tia NC, you say good morning from Seattle. You're ready with your coffee. Amber Co, you say thank you, Trishala, and your gift of time. You love learning. A happy Tuesday to all. Oh, it's getting a little bit stuck every now and then. We might move over to another cam. But this has been brilliant. That tusker in the middle. Oh, he has that one very, very long tusk, which I think is just amazing. Imagine the weight associated with having to carry around a tusk like that. A tusk like that would probably weigh about like 120 kgs or something. There we go. We've moved on now to another cam. In Koro we've got here at the moment, and some wildebeest. Alison in a very sunny Liverpool, UK, you say good afternoon to everybody. Jan Powers, you say hi from Arizona. Sunny and hot. That sounds great, Jan, because over here in the Western Cape of South Africa where I am sitting next to a roaring fire because it is chilly and it is rainy and overcast outside, and I've got some soup on the stove. Yes, I do. So hot and sunny in Arizona sounds lovely. Very much like what it is up here at Nkoro at the moment. Now, Nkoro is in the northeastern section of South Africa, definitely far more north and east from where I am. And there, the weather tends to be a lot warmer. So it's probably around 26 or 27 degrees Celsius at this time. I'm not actually 100% sure, but that's quite average. Now, even though this is winter across the country, of course, because we're in the southern hemisphere, but the climate varies across different parts of South Africa. And winter in most of the country, at least, is characterized by less rainfall. So you can see that the grass is starting to get quite dry, which offers some benefits for some animals. In fact, it doesn't, I should rephrase that, because all natural cycles are beneficial for all animals because they have lived and evolved with these natural cycles. So during this time, the wildebeest, even though they are grazers and really want to have that fresh, nutritious grass, wildebeest are natural migrators. So they're constantly moving in search of better pastures. But the drier grass, it's not terrible. It's just a little bit more difficult to digest and far less moisture content, but they're still making it work. But they will continue to move and follow greener, wetter areas because there's still going to be patches of rain here and there. There's going to be sheltered areas where it's not as dry. And maybe all the dust, the dry sand that's getting kicked up as they move, for lots of animals, they roll around in that sand. So there's always benefits to different times of the year. And it's obvious when you think about it because they have to survive in any time of the year, in any condition, in any type of weather. Jurgenlang, you say hello to everyone. Hello to you. I haven't heard your name before. Welcome aboard if this is your first time joining us, or maybe just the first time you're joining me. Bull Grooms, you say good morning from sunny South Carolina. Yes. Now we've moved on to Tau. So it's been quite interesting at the Tau camp today. Apparently there were even some lions somewhere in the bushes. Maybe we'll be lucky and they'll pop out, so we're going to keep an eye here. But we've also had lots and lots of elephants and then also a jackal. So it's been an exciting time out on the camps here. Across, we have an Impala moving there. So we're doing a bit of a scan. Oh, good old yellow-billed storks. Always around. If you can hear that like clicking, I don't know why, but this is the first time I've noticed it, but it's the electric fence that's quite close to the camera. Then, you know, the electric fence give off that little kind of little bit of a spark every now and then. But it's the first time that I'm noticing it. Maybe I'm just bad. Bob from Kalamazoo, you say hello to Shala, happy Tuesday. Thank you so much. Legomorphophobic, you say hello from Germany. Oh no, do you not like the bunnies? So legomorphs, if you were unsure, and I love this name, legomorphs are a group of mammals that include rabbits and hares. So previously, taxonomically, quite a while ago, rabbits and hares were also included in rodents, Rodentia, but they are not anymore. Not for some time, actually. So they're legomorphs. So obviously, legomorphophobic doesn't like them very much. But that's okay. You say hello from Germany. Bill Groomed, you say you've got 7 months until your South African trip and you're so excited. That is fantastic. I know you'll have a great, great time. Oh, nice. We've got a spur-winged goose in the middle of our 2 big crocs. Now, we were hoping that the jackal will show itself again, but you know, this is the benefit of having so many camps that we can move across to and from. Oh, there's 3 crocs. My eyes just focused on the one between the spur-winged goose and not the one on the left as well. What I was saying is that the ability to swap between cameras and look at different areas in southern Africa, and also different environments, and then obviously different types of animals because of the different environments, that is such charm. Because we thought we saw the jackal earlier. Now we can hop across to another camera if we like a little bit later. Oh, there we go. Back at Oldonyo. Now this is a very large group of males. This is a bachelor herd. Just look at the size of those tusks. Not just long, but thick. We've also got one on the right there who's got a floppy ear. I'm sorry if you can hear my fire. It's being a little bit noisy. The Scourge, you say howdy from Kansas. Howdy, Scourge. Two, four, six. There's eight. 8 bulls in this little bachelor herd. I say little, but in fact, this is quite a large bachelor herd. We've seen a few large ones. I think the last time we saw quite a big bachelor herd when we were doing this together was at Tembe. But they were quite young. These bulls look look older, and they look bigger than those that we had seen together at Tembe. Sorry, I'm just going to maybe move. No, my fire is fine now. We're experiencing just a little bit of difficulty with Aldonia, but I'm sure that we'll head back whenever we can. Now, even here at Tau, we've been seeing quite a lot of elephants, but here we're seeing breeding herds a little bit more often. Legomorphophobic, you say you love bunnies, but you had a lot of them as pets. So the name is a joke because they can be quite aggressive, even though they look so cute. I absolutely agree with you, and I love your name. And I love when I say things and you guys reply. It means I kind of get to know you in a way. Now you can see there's still quite a lot of water, which means that we're probably in, or at least the animals are in for a fairly good dry season, in that there will be some availability of water. But sometimes, well, it's not always a great thing. Obviously, having water about is fantastic, but when there's a very quick transition from there being a lot of water and there being very little water, it means that it gives the water less time to be stagnant and for there to be overgrowth of, say, like invasive species like the water hyacinth that we've been seeing at Tembe, but also, more than that, overgrowth of bacteria and cyanobacteria, algae, all those things that could potentially pose a health risk to animals. But again, it's just all part of the changes that an environment goes through. And also, it's those kind of, what can I say, imbalances, if I can call it that. It's those kinds of imbalances that actually drive adaptation and evolution, and also drive strengthening of a species, whether it's the strengthening of their immunity or their stomach acid. It can be a great driver for those kinds of things. At the same time, more bacteria could also enhance the food chain, or rather provide quite a lot of food for other smaller animals or smaller invertebrates like isopods. So those are small, tiny insect-looking creatures, tiny things, and any other animal that would feed on bacteria or algae. It could provide a huge food source for them, an increase in food source, and then that can go up the food chain and be beneficial to everybody. It's such a fine thing. Sometimes it can be really problematic, sometimes it can be very beneficial. Now for animals like these crocodiles, as long as there's water, that's all that matters. The quality of the water doesn't really matter. Anybody else coming into the water doesn't really matter, as it doesn't affect their survival. If anything, it will be helpful to crocodiles with this kind of condition, where there's still a bit of water. Well, I mean, there's quite a bit of water, really. But where there's still water, it can be muddy, it can have lots of growth in it, but that's only going to aid their lifestyle. Because crocodiles are ambush predators, so if they can remain hidden because of overgrowth of vegetation or the muddiness of water, it's just going to bode well for them. Hi, Jirel. You say you're asking, does the colder temperatures mean that we won't see Monty anymore? If Monty was around to be seen. Well, we can let, I said let, somebody. So let's turn that down, because that doesn't sound very nice. There we go. Thank you. So, we're here at Rosie's Pan now, and I thought we'd go over here because we're talking about Monty. And by the way, I've been playing Safari Snaps recently, and I've always come over here hoping that I'll see Monty live in action, you know. But I haven't seen him either, Jarrell. But just because it is colder doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to see Monty. There's a couple other things that will affect whether we see Monty. This is his tree right here. Now recently I had a really fantastic African python sighting, and it's not as if it was particularly warm. It was also in the morning, so that's when it's quite cool. But as I was describing earlier about the weather patterns in South Africa, and how for most of the country the winter is more associated with a lack of rain as opposed to very cold temperatures. So the temperature is not going to affect Monty very much, and quite honestly, neither is the lack of rain. What is going to affect Monty's behavior, or particularly Monty's behavior of lying on this branch so that we can see him clearly, what is going to affect that is his age and his growth. So after doing quite a bit of research on Monty and why it is that he's engaging in this kind of behavior. So if you're unsure what I'm talking about, Monty would lie on this branch and then wait for birds to come by very, very still, and then he'd catch birds mid-air. It's fantastic. And he seems to have continuously kind of like learned that this type of behavior results in quite a bit of success. So from the research that I've done, there are lots of snakes that engage in more exploratory behavior when it comes to hunting techniques, but they seem to do that when they're subadults or juveniles, but we mostly see it when they're subadults because they're larger and we can see them. And as Monty grows, like any other snake that grows that's been engaging in that exploratory hunting behavior, they kind of figure out which is the type of technique that really deserves their energy and let go of the others. So I know that we've been seeing Monty, pretty consistently along this branch here at Rosie's Pan, and we've seen him be hugely successful. But that doesn't mean that somewhere else he's even more successful. So that's going to really affect how often we see him. But the weather is not really going to. Rolling Trouble, you say, oh no, Monty, but we all watch for him. We do, and I think he will come back here. It's like, any animal, if they know they can get food at a certain place, that is almost a given that they're going to reappear. Anyway, we're back at our lovely crocs now, which is awesome because we've got a great question. Browser Flowers, you'd like to know, do crocs overheat? Crocodiles can overheat, like any other reptile. It will take quite a bit for them to overheat though, because they have a very large mouth, so they can open it up and expose all of that nice, wet, thin tissue in their mouth to help them cool down, and they can also get into the water, which helps them cool down very much. So while it's possible for them to overheat, it's not something you see very often. Temperatures would have to be, well, I guess there'd have to be this combination of factors. High temperatures and no water to sink into. That could cause them to overheat. But for animals that are exothermic, so that regulate their body temperature depending on the ambient temperatures as opposed to how we do it, endotherms, we're endotherms. Ectotherms also have a broader range because their body is constantly changing temperatures, even if it's a little bit, even if it's not very much, but their range is broader. So their buffer zone is broader as well, so they can tolerate things better and also change their behavior a lot quicker than, say, mammals would if they experienced a slight temperature change. These black-winged stilts, these birds, are lovely to watch like this as well. Completely kind of not worried about the crocodile at all. I wonder if we could just zoom out just a little bit, because you would have also heard it. There were some impala that were snorting in the background. Now it sounded very much to me like the rutting kind of call, which, I mean, the rutting season for impala peak in May, so it's on the downslope now. So we could still hear those rutting calls. But I just want to have a bit of a scan around, because we do know that there were some lions seen around. Maybe even the jackals could have caused them to snort like that, particularly if they're being very jackally, which includes being fast and small and kind of running circles around animals. Lego, gosh, I can't even say it now. Legomorphophobic, you say it always makes you nervous when there are water bucks in the water because of the crocs. Yeah, and the water bucks are probably as nervous as you are for them, if not terribly more. Crocodiles will have no problem taking down water bucks, but also remember that water bucks are consistently seen in and around the water. So they are hyper aware of the movements of crocodiles. Just having a bit of a look around now. So these impala look totally relaxed. You see impalas and they've got their head down near the water. They're pretty relaxed. So I think what we were hearing was, oh, pied kingfisher! I wonder if you saw that this pied kingfisher was hovering. There we go. There we go. Right in front of the cam. That's so special. Oh, I love kingfishers. I really, really do. And the pied kingfisher is one that I love to watch, because their ability to hover, it's just going away in the distance there. I think it might have landed on that log, I'm not sure. The pied kingfisher's ability to hover is phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's always a bit of a treasure to watch it. The Scourge, you say you're going through what's called an exceptional drought in Kansas right now. So you would take rain any day, much better than drought. Yeah, absolutely. Drought really pushes the environment, or at least the biotic environment, the living environment. Drought really pushes it because we can deal with a fair amount of water, but drought really pushes it. Here we have some African spoonbills. Now these impala are very relaxed. The majority of ewes, those are female impalas, the majority of ewes that we're seeing at the moment are most definitely pregnant. Almost all of them that are reproductively mature at the moment, sexually mature, are going to be pregnant. It's just, I mean, I don't know how else to say this, but it's just such a crazy free-for-all that nobody's going to be left. And I'm sure that on the cams, you've been watching the impala over the last 2 months or so, where it's really been quite intense, the whole rutting experience to watch and for the impalas themselves, I'm sure. Oh, Amberco, you've got some questions about Monty. You'd like to know, is there an age when Monty may stop growing, or will he just continue to grow as he or she ages? So, there are exceptional lengths. I say exceptional because I've never seen a python that has been 6 meters long, but apparently they can get that length. Now Monty looks like he's about 2.5 meters or so. Again, it's so difficult to tell because we only get to see him through the camera. We have some elephant. Oh, hello, elephant coming through. He looks so careful. Beautiful. It might be, you can see that he was stopping listening for a moment. Maybe it's the smell of potential predators in the air. Maybe it's the vehicle behind him. Maybe he's just being careful. Anyway, Amako, Monty looks like he's about 2.5 meters long, somewhere around there. And he will continue to grow for the majority of his life. But the older he gets, the less growth he will have per year. But 6 meters is basically the top upper percentile of python growth. And then you also want to know, are there any physical characteristics to tell the age of a python? So when the younger they are, because the younger they are, the more vivid their coloration. And then particularly for African rock pythons like Monty, and actually for any reptile, where we tell their maturity level based on their size, not their age. So Monty becomes an adult when he's about 2.5 meters. After that, we can consider him an adult. But say he is 20 years old and he's still 2 meters long, we wouldn't consider him sexually mature. So with most reptiles, for snakes, it's obviously the full length, and then for other reptiles like lizards, we use the snout to vent length. So that's from the snout down to the top of the tail, where the tail joins the body. So for Monty, we can say that he's on the cusp of sub-adult to adulthood. But otherwise, once they're beyond that point, it's very, very difficult to age them with any real kind of accuracy. This is quite a large male. Look at the distance between his tusks. Got a very distinct hourglass shape on his face. Beautiful. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your questions and your comments. I always love spending this time with you, and I hope, like Jarell says, that you have a bigger smile on your face than when we started. Enjoy the cams, enjoy the wilderness, however virtually, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.